Turkish manuscripts. It all had to fit together in a kind of harmonious whole. The recording of the Burdah was a real challenge because, for a start, it's not normally done in its entirety. It's normally divided into two halves, and you sing one half one week, the second half on the second week. Secondly, it's not normally done in this very self-conscious situation. The recording studio picks up every single tiny noise, so coughs and creaking chairs are all picked up, and to get 7 or 8 men in a studio and to get them all to be absolutely silent is extremely difficult. Mohammed Banis had trained these men extremely well, and they went through the day virtually without a retake, just having to stop to change reels on the recorder.
مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم.
The Andalusian singing tradition allows for very long stretches of singing because the Burdah is a kind of basis for a whole patchwork of other qasidas and poems. Now the skill of Mohammed Banis is in weaving these things together. So for instance, it will begin with the Burdah at a fairly low pitch, and it's like at the beginning of a railway train, or I think they liken it to the beginning of a fire with the blowing on the embers, and it slowly builds up impetus. And then at a certain point it would change into another poem, like the Hamza of Busayri, another one of his famous poems, in a different meter and in a different tempo. So the interest is maintained, and then that will stop and it will move into solo singing. Each one of the singers has to prove himself, as it were, with his own particular solo style, which, although it's very it's done to particular rules, still has a personal expression in it. This is what sustains it over like 2 hours for the listener, and also for the whole momentum of the performance.
Congratulations.
مبروك.
اسمحوا لي لك شيء.
I know that's okay. We ran out of tape, and they said, no, there was only 3. He came in and said, that's it, we don't have more, you have to do it tomorrow. He said, go see if there's at least some old tape. He found a brand new band. He didn't know where it came from. Wallahi. He came in and said, where'd that band come? I don't know where it came from, it was in there.
This whole project must have taken well over 2 years to produce, and it was miraculous it really happened at all. But then the Burdah is often associated with miracles. After all, it was translated in California, it was calligraphed in Washington DC, it was sung and recorded in Morocco, it was then mixed and designed and produced in London and Cambridge, it was printed in Istanbul and bound in Ankara. And now we're faced with the major challenge of selling and distributing this throughout the world.
Then you started out, penetrating the 7 heavens, with them in procession behind you, and you their standard bearer, until you left no space of divine presence for others to attain, nor any summit for seekers of heights to aspire to. You achieved every station by rightful possession, addressed by God with exaltation, a unique subject in heavenly syntax. In this way, you attained the station of arrival, veiled from the gaze of onlookers, a secret sealed in silence. Thus you gathered every honor without peer, and traversed every station in solitude. What preeminence you have been entrusted with! Past counting are all the blessings granted you. glad tidings for us, the people of Islam. We have a pillar of providence, utterly imperishable. You called us to God's obedience when He named you the most eminent of emissaries. We became the noblest of nations.
وعلى آله وصحبه واسلم عدد معلوماتك ومداد كلماتك كلما ذكرك وذكره الذاكرون وغفل عن ذكرك وذكر الغافلون. اللهم صل أفضل صلواتك على أشرف مخلوقاتك سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه واسلم عدد معلوماتك ومداد كلماتك كلما ذكرك وذكره الذاكرون وغفل عن ذكرك وذكر الغافلون. اللهم صل أفضل صلواتك على أشرف مخلوقاتك سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم عدد معلوماتك ومداد كلماتك كلما ذكرك وذكره الذاكرون وغفل عن ذكرك وذكره الغافلون. محمد بشر لا كالبشر بل هو كالياقوت بين الحجر. محمد بشر لا كالبشر بل هو كالياقوت بين الحجر. محمد بشر لا كالبشر بل هو كالياقوت بين الحجر. وإنما نسبته بالبشر كنسبة بالياقوت والحجر. صلى عليه ربنا وسلم وآله وصحبه وعظم. صلى عليه ربنا وسلم وآله وصحبه وعظم. صلى عليه ربنا وسلم وآله وصحبه وعظم.